Hello, and welcome back to The Wise Journey. I'm truly grateful to have you with me today. Let me ask you something. Have you ever eaten something widely praised as healthy, like yogurt, only to feel uncomfortable afterward? Maybe you felt bloated, gassy, or just a little off. If so, you're not alone. Yogurt is often celebrated as a gut-friendly superfood. It's full of probiotics, those helpful bacteria that support digestion, boost immunity, and even influence mood and focus. But here's the catch. Yogurt is incredibly sensitive to how it's combined with other foods. When we pair it with the wrong things, it can lose its benefits and even upset our digestion. Some combinations can neutralize the probiotics entirely or trigger fermentation in the gut, leading to discomfort and imbalance over time. So, in today's episode, we're going to explore 3 foods that should never be eaten with yogurt and why they can backfire. Don't worry though. I'll also share 3 foods that complement yogurt beautifully and enhance its healing power. By the end, you'll know exactly how to enjoy yogurt in a way that supports your digestion and helps you feel your best. Let's dive in. Why yogurt is both healing and delicate. As we age, it's common to notice shifts in how our body reacts to food. Meals that once felt light and easy might now leave us bloated, tired, or uncomfortable. This isn't in your head, it's part of the body's natural aging process. Our digestive system slows down over time, enzyme production decreases, the balance of gut bacteria shifts, and our system becomes more reactive to food combinations that once posed no problem. That's where yogurt can play a powerful role. Packed with probiotics, it helps restore balance, improve digestion, and even uplift our mental clarity. Especially as we grow older, yogurt can act like a gentle internal support system. But, and this is crucial, yogurt only offers these benefits when paired with the right kinds of food. Think of yogurt like a sensitive remedy. It doesn't mix well with everything. Some pairings can disrupt its good bacteria, slow digestion, or even cause gas and gut fermentation. So, while yogurt is nourishing, it also demands mindful pairing. This brings us to the heart of today's topic. 3 common foods that should never be mixed with yogurt if you want to protect your gut and feel your best. Let's begin with one you've likely had for breakfast more than once. 1. Fruit, especially citrus and melons. This one might surprise you. Fruit and yogurt seem like a natural match. Supermarket shelves are lined with flavors like strawberry, blueberry, and peach yogurt. It sounds healthy, but the reality is more complicated, especially for older adults. Here's why. Many fruits, especially citrus varieties like oranges, pineapples, and grapefruits, are highly acidic. When you combine these acids with the dairy proteins in yogurt, it can lead to curdling, not just in your bowl, but inside your stomach. That curdled mixture becomes harder to digest, often causing bloating, gas, or heavy feeling afterward. Melons bring a different issue. Watermelon, cantaloupe, and honeydew digest very quickly. Yogurt, however, takes its time. When the two are eaten together, the melon moves swiftly, until it gets held up by the slower digesting yogurt. This traffic jam in your gut can lead to fermentation, discomfort, and even loose stools. Traditional systems like Ayurveda have warned about combining fruit and dairy for centuries, especially for people whose digestion has slowed with age. Let me share a quick story. Margaret, a friend of mine who's 72 and health-conscious, used to start her mornings with yogurt and grapefruit. But she kept feeling nauseous afterward and couldn't figure out why. We tried removing the grapefruit, and just like that, the bloating vanished. She switched to something warm and simple, and her digestion thanked her for it. So, what's a better choice? Try gently stewed apples with a bit of cinnamon. They're warming, easier on the digestive system, and still give you that cozy, sweet pairing with yogurt. We'll talk more about great pairings later. But first, let's move to the second food group that doesn't belong with yogurt, and this one often shows up at lunch or dinner. 2. Meat and heavy proteins. This one might not seem obvious, but it's just as important. Eating yogurt alongside meat or other high-protein dishes can seriously challenge your digestive system. Here's what happens. Yogurt is already high in protein. When you pair it with another protein-dense food, like steak, chicken, pork, or eggs, you overload your digestion. Your stomach has to work much harder, especially if you're over 50, when digestive power naturally declines. Protein requires strong stomach acid to break down properly. If you stack multiple protein sources together, it slows everything down. The food lingers in your gut, where it can ferment or even begin to rot. That might sound harsh, but it's exactly what happens, and the results often include gas, heaviness, acid reflux, and inflammation. There's another issue. The high stomach acid needed to break down meat can overpower and destroy the beneficial bacteria in yogurt. So even though you're eating something healthy, the body never gets the benefits. Here's a real example. Robert, a viewer from Wisconsin, used to enjoy Greek yogurt alongside his grilled steak. But he noticed he always felt tired, bloated, and a little sick afterward. Once he began eating yogurt as a mid-afternoon snack instead, or waiting a few hours after meals, the difference was dramatic. He felt lighter, more energized, and far more comfortable. Think of your digestion like building a fire. You can't just dump all the logs on at once and expect it to burn smoothly. You need to add the right fuel at the right time. So instead of pairing yogurt with a heavy meal, save it for a quieter moment when your stomach isn't already working overtime. That's when it can really shine. Now, let's look at the third food you should avoid mixing with yogurt. It's a surprising one for many people too. Spicy or fried foods. All right, let's talk about the third food group you should never combine with yogurt: spicy or fried foods. Now listen, I enjoy a little spice just like anyone else, and every once in a while a crispy treat can really hit the spot. But combining these foods with yogurt? That's a different story, especially if you're over 50. Here's why. Spicy foods, like chili peppers, hot sauce, and curry spices, can be very irritating to the lining of the stomach, particularly if your digestive system is already a bit sensitive. When you add yogurt on top of that, which is naturally cooling and mucus-forming, it creates a sort of digestive confusion. Your body doesn't know whether to cool down or fire up, and for many people that results in heaviness in digestion, excess gas, or acid reflux, sometimes just minutes after eating. Now, let's talk about fried foods. These are typically cooked in processed oils that are difficult to digest on their own. When you mix them with yogurt, it creates a very heavy, sluggish meal that can sit in your stomach for hours. This combination often leads to bloating, and in some cases, even joint stiffness due to inflammation, especially for older adults whose metabolism has slowed down. Here's a story that stuck with me. A woman named Gloria, aged 65, told me she had a tradition of eating fried samosas with yogurt dip every Friday night. She loved the flavor, but always woke up the next morning feeling foggy and weighed down. I suggested she enjoy the yogurt separately, maybe earlier in the day with something lighter, and the next week she emailed me saying, "I didn't just feel better, honey. I felt younger." That's the power of honoring your digestion. So if you're someone who enjoys spice or fried foods now and then, and there's nothing wrong with that, just be mindful about when and how you enjoy yogurt. Let it stand on its own, or pair it with foods that support it. And that leads us perfectly into the next part of today's video, the part everyone's been waiting for. Let's talk about what you should eat with yogurt to make it work for your gut, not against it. 3 foods that combine. Well, with yogurt, so far we've talked about what not to eat with yogurt, but now let's shift our focus to the good stuff, the foods that pair beautifully with yogurt and actually enhance its digestive benefits. These are gentle, nourishing, and especially well-suited for people over the age of 50. When combined the right way, they can help you feel lighter, more energized, and more in balance. Let's go through 3 of the best choices, one by one. 1. Stewed apples with cinnamon, a gentle, nourishing companion to yogurt. In the world of healthy eating, raw fruits and vegetables often steal the spotlight. But as we age, our bodies begin to crave something softer, warmer, and easier to process. That's why stewed apples with a touch of cinnamon can be one of the most soothing and supportive foods to pair with yogurt, especially for those over 50. Let's begin with apples. They're naturally rich in fiber, antioxidants, and a unique soluble fiber called pectin, which acts as a natural prebiotic. That means it nourishes the friendly bacteria in your gut, the same ones that yogurt provides in probiotic form. Together, they create a gut-healing partnership that promotes better digestion and balance. The challenge, however, lies in the raw form of apples. Their skins can be tough, the texture is firm, and the coolness of raw fruit can feel harsh on a sensitive digestive system. As we get older, these factors can lead to bloating, gas, or sluggish digestion. But when apples are gently stewed until soft, something beautiful happens. Their fibers begin to break down, making them far easier to digest while still retaining all their benefits. Now, let's add cinnamon to the mix. Cinnamon does more than warm up a dish. It has natural anti-inflammatory properties and plays a supportive role in blood sugar regulation. That makes it especially helpful for anyone navigating blood sugar fluctuations or managing conditions like prediabetes or type 2 diabetes. It also stimulates healthy digestive movement and adds a subtle heat that helps awaken the gut, something many of us need a little help with as we grow older. Beyond the health benefits, the aroma of simmering apples and cinnamon can stir a deep sense of comfort. It's the kind of scent that brings back memories of childhood kitchens, autumn afternoons, and the warmth of home. So, what happens when you combine stewed apples and cinnamon with yogurt? You get a gentle, deeply nourishing meal that supports the gut on multiple levels. Yogurt delivers beneficial bacteria. The apples feed those bacteria with prebiotics. And cinnamon ties it all together, calming inflammation, aiding digestion, and enhancing flavor. This trio isn't just good for your digestion. It's grounding, satisfying, and emotionally uplifting. One of our longtime viewers, Diane, who's now 71, once shared her experience with me. She used to eat yogurt with berries every morning, but over time, it began to upset her stomach. When she switched to warm, stewed apples with cinnamon stirred into her yogurt, everything changed. Within a week, she noticed her bloating had disappeared, her energy had lifted, and she felt lighter in body and spirit. That's the power of tuning in to what your body really needs. If you'd like to try it yourself, the process is simple. Peel and slice 1 or 2 apples. Any sweet variety will do. Place the slices in a small saucepan with a splash of water. Cover and simmer on low for about 10 minutes or until they're soft enough to pierce with a fork. Add a sprinkle of ground cinnamon, then let the mixture cool slightly before folding it into a bowl of plain, unsweetened yogurt. It makes for a gentle breakfast, a calming afternoon snack, or even a nourishing dessert. This is food that loves you back, comforting, healing, and effortlessly simple. Because often, the most restorative meals are the ones that feel like home. 2. Ground flaxseed or chia seeds, tiny seeds with big benefits for your gut. Sometimes, the most powerful health boosters come in the smallest packages, and that's exactly the case with flax seeds and chia seeds. These tiny superfoods are packed with nutrients that offer enormous support for digestion, heart health, and overall well-being, especially for older adults. When added to yogurt, they create a healing combination that can help you feel lighter, more regular, and more energized throughout the day. Let's begin with flax seeds. Flax seeds are rich in omega-3 fatty acids, which are known for their anti-inflammatory properties. That's important because inflammation in the gut is one of the leading causes of bloating, constipation, and discomfort as we age. Omega-3s help reduce that inflammation and support a healthier gut lining. But that's not all. Flax seeds are also one of the best plant-based sources of soluble fiber, which helps add bulk to stools and supports gentle, regular elimination, something many older adults struggle with. Then there's lignan. a unique type of antioxidant found in flax that may help with hormone balance and even protect against certain age-related diseases. So, with just a single tablespoon of ground flaxseed added to your yogurt, you're giving your body a gentle cleanse, a boost in anti-inflammatory nutrients, and a solid foundation for gut health. Now let's talk about chia seeds. Chia seeds work a little differently, but their benefits are just as impressive. When you soak chia seeds in liquid, like water, milk, or yogurt, they form a gel-like texture that helps soothe the digestive tract. This gel acts like a gentle lubricant for your intestines, which can be incredibly helpful for people dealing with constipation or irregular digestion. Chia seeds are also rich in fiber, protein, and essential minerals like magnesium and calcium, nutrients that support energy, muscle function, and bone health as we get older. And since chia is naturally gluten-free and low in sugar, it's an easy addition for those managing sensitive stomachs or blood sugar concerns. Now, when you combine either of these seeds with yogurt, you're doing two wonderful things at once. First, you're increasing the fiber content, which helps move waste through your system naturally. Second, you're creating the perfect environment for probiotics to flourish because good bacteria need fiber, prebiotics, to stay alive and active in your gut. Here's how to enjoy it. Take 1 tablespoon of ground flax seed. Make sure it's ground, as whole flax seeds often pass through undigested, or 1 tablespoon of chia seeds. Stir them into a small bowl of plain yogurt. Let it sit for about 5 to 10 minutes so the seeds soften and blend in smoothly. You can add a dash of cinnamon or a drizzle of raw honey if you'd like to enhance the flavor naturally. You can also prepare it the night before. Just stir the seeds into your yogurt and let it rest in the fridge overnight. By morning, it'll have a creamy, pudding-like texture that's both satisfying and easy to digest. Let me share a quick story. One of our viewers, Thomas, who is 68 and recovering from years of gut issues, started adding flaxseed to his yogurt every evening as a dessert. He said that within 3 days, he felt less bloated and more regular than he had in years. Not only that, but he also felt more clear-headed and focused during the day, something he hadn't expected. It's amazing what small changes can do. Adding flaxseed or chia seeds to your yogurt is simple, affordable, and highly effective. There's no cooking required, no fancy equipment, just a spoon, a bowl, and 5 minutes of your time. And the best part? These seeds don't just help your gut, they help your heart, brain, bones, and even your mood. So the next time you reach for a bowl of yogurt, consider adding one of these tiny superfoods. Your body will thank you for it, quietly, consistently, and in all the ways that matter most. 3. Warmed or soaked oats. A gentle ally to yogurt and your gut. When we think of comfort foods, those warm, familiar meals that soothe the body and spirit, oats often come to mind. They've been a breakfast staple in American homes for decades, and there's a good reason for it. Oats are simple to prepare, easy on the stomach, and full of nutrients that quietly work in the background to support long-term health. But what many people overlook is just how powerful oats can be when paired with yogurt, especially for those of us in our 50s, 60s, and beyond. Let's take a closer look. Oats are well known for helping to lower cholesterol, stabilize blood sugar, and gently support the immune system. But perhaps their most overlooked quality is that they act as a prebiotic, meaning they feed and nourish the good bacteria already living in your gut. When you combine that with the probiotics in yogurt, you create a kind of digestive harmony. The probiotics arrive, and the oats help them settle in and thrive. It's not just a meal, it's a symbiotic system for your gut health. But here's the key. How you prepare your oats matters just as much as the oats themselves. Dry oats, eaten raw or straight from the box, can be rough on the digestive system. They can lead to bloating, discomfort, and even constipation for those with more sensitive digestion, which is especially common as we age. That's why I always recommend cooking or soaking your oats before adding them to yogurt. Cooked oats, made on the stovetop with a little water or milk, become soft, warm, and incredibly soothing. Once they've cooled slightly, you can stir in a spoonful of plain yogurt for a creamy, balanced meal that's both comforting and nourishing. Another wonderful option? Overnight oats. Just mix raw oats with yogurt and a splash of your favorite milk, almond, oat, or dairy, and let them sit in the fridge overnight. By morning, the oats have softened perfectly and absorbed all the flavor. Add a pinch of cinnamon, a spoonful of flaxseed, or a few pieces of stewed fruit, and you've got a gut-friendly breakfast that feels like a quiet hug. Let me share a quick story. Evelyn, a thoughtful and vibrant woman in her early 70s from Michigan, wrote to me last spring. She had given up on oats years ago because they left her bloated and uncomfortable. When I asked how she was eating them, she said she was pouring cold milk over instant oats and eating them straight from the bowl. We tried something different. Lightly cooked oats, stirred with plain yogurt, cinnamon, and a few slices of soft apple. Within 2 weeks, she felt the difference. Her digestion improved, her energy picked up, and she even said her mind felt clearer. It's amazing how a small change in preparation can create such a noticeable shift, not only in how we feel physically, but in our clarity and confidence too. So next time you reach for yogurt, think about adding a scoop of warm oats or preparing a jar of overnight oats the night before. You'll be giving your gut the nourishment it needs: fiber, prebiotics, and comfort in every spoonful. This isn't a new health trend or a supplement you have to buy. This is food that has stood the test of time, simple, affordable, and incredibly healing when used with care. Now, before we close, I want to take a quiet moment with you, not to offer advice, but to simply connect. Because for many of us, food is so much more than just fuel. It's memory, comfort, family, and sometimes it's confusion. Maybe something you once loved now leaves you feeling bloated or tired. Maybe something that's supposed to be healthy makes you feel worse. If that's been your experience, I want you to know you're not alone, and you're not doing anything wrong. Our bodies are changing, and those changes are not a punishment. They're an invitation to listen more closely, to slow down, to nourish ourselves in ways that align with where we are now. That's why today we focused on one small, humble food: yogurt. Something with the power to heal, but only when used wisely. Let's take a quick recap. We talked about 3 foods to avoid with yogurt: citrus, fruits, and melons, which can disrupt digestion; heavy meats or proteins, which slow things down and overwhelm the gut; and spicy or fried foods, which confuse the system and reduce the benefits of yogurt. Then we looked at 3 ideal partners for yogurt: warm, stewed apples with cinnamon for gentle fiber and digestive ease; seeds like flax and chia for healthy fats and natural cleansing; and now cooked or soaked oats, which offer slow, steady energy and powerful prebiotic support. These are not just tips for better meals. They're small acts of kindness you can offer your body each day. So, tomorrow morning, when you walk into your kitchen, I hope you feel a little more confident and a little more calm. You deserve food that leaves you feeling good. You deserve nourishment that supports, not stresses, your body. And if this message helped you, taught you something new, or simply reminded you to be gentle with yourself, consider passing it on to someone else. Maybe a sister, a neighbor, a friend, someone who might be struggling and not sure why. Because healing doesn't have to be hard. Sometimes it starts with a bowl of oats, a spoonful of yogurt, and a moment of peace.